Welcome, fellow adventurers, to our exciting video dedicated to games that capture the essence of the Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. Get ready to embark on epic journeys through immersive fantasy worlds, brimming with adventure and uncharted mysteries, alongside these captivating counterparts to the iconic RPG. The Elder Scrolls Online. Surely many have guessed who will appear at the top of the best games like Skyrim in the first place. A multiplayer variation of the great role-playing game that has adopted both the virtues, and to the great sadness of many The Elder Scrolls fans, some of their shortcomings from modern MMOs. But there are many more of the former, otherwise the game wouldn't have been able to win nearly 10 million subscribers. Also, some time ago it switched from a monthly subscription to the pay-and-play system. After a one-time purchase you can play The Elder Scrolls Online as long as you like, which may be a decisive argument for many players. The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. The best RPG of recent years, and definitely a very worthy alternative to Skyrim. A branched-out plot, under 100 deeply detailed characters, dozens of enemies, hardcore combat, albeit not for everyone. And all this in the setting of a vast and truly mesmerizingly beautiful local world. Plus all that in The Witcher, there are trademark chips from the book series by A. Sapkowski, witches' marks and potions, 2 swords, medallion, bargaining for a reward, wards with orders for the monsters, and more. And everything is so well realized that it seems as if it was deliberately invented by the great Polish writer for a video game.
Some fight for glory, justice, or gold. I fight for those I hold dear. I'm Geralt of Rivia, the Witcher.
The Elder Scrolls 3, Morrowind. The third installment in Bethesda's iconic series, which takes players to the dark elven-populated province of Morrowind. Morrowind offers a vast area to explore, including 36 villages and cities, as well as many dungeons, caves, and other sinister locations. Here you will find realistic characters, several factions awaiting the help of the glorious hero and various quests to complete. Everything that has made the Elder Scrolls franchise so popular and beloved. The Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion, the 4th installment in the series, with good graphics and animation, an even bigger and more impressive world, fascinating quests, and an updated role-playing system compared to the 3rd installment. Oblivion turned out to be so great and so replayable that fans to this day continue to release interesting modifications for it, and even make a major amateur re-release on the creation engine called Skyblivion. Dragon Age Origins. Not a bad story-driven game, appreciated by gamers first and foremost for its action-packed storyline, large number of dialogues, and extensive opportunities to develop relationships with your companions. The world, although it has a large size, which has found room for several dozen well-organized locations, for some reason does not seem so lively as in the 5th part of the Elder Scrolls. The combat system is also not impressive. The battles take place in a kind of turn-based mode with the ability to at any time to let everything go on its own, or on the contrary, to urgently pause and make adjustments. Nevertheless, there is a special atmosphere in the game, which has formed an army of millions of fans. Fallout 3 is an action-packed RPG that gives fans of the first few installments of the iconic franchise a new vibe. The project from Bethesda offers users to play as a hero who finds himself on the surface for the first time. Post-apocalyptic wasteland conceals many dangers and have to fight a lot, and the possibility of choice and free exploration locations pleasantly diversify the already interesting adventure. If you enjoyed Skyrim, Fallout 3 is definitely worth playing. Fallout New Vegas will delight every RPG fan. This time, the project was developed by Obsidian Entertainment. It happened so that at first users were very cautious about New Vegas, but then the game gained the status of one of the best parts of the cult series. Fallout New Vegas gameplay pleases with a large world, numerous factions, waging war with each other, a fascinating storyline, and a lot of side quests, with which you can hang for hundreds of hours. Users are also given ample opportunities to develop their hero, a large number of weapons, and of course, unique companions. Fallout 4, a game whose setting is very different from Skyrim, for there is not just a distance between fantasy and nuclear post-apocalypse, but a real bottomless chasm. However, since Fallout 4 was made by the same developers, Bethesda Softworks, the gameplay of both projects has similar elements, and even hold principles. Take for example the world structure, the global map, how to move around it, interaction with factions, the ability to get a house, the system of rest and waiting, and so on. In general, if you like good role-playing games built on the principle of sandbox, then you should not pass Fallout 4.
Let's go, boy.
Fallout 76. Fallout 76 is a sequel to the series with a huge fan base from Bethesda. The project is notable for its emphasis on the action component. This decision may have scared off fans of the classic Fallout, but modern users were satisfied. As before, gamers are given a large world where you have to survive, perform tasks, and do what you want. The main feature of Fallout 76 is the multiplayer format, offering to conquer the wasteland with other users. Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen, a dragon role-playing game developed by Capcom with elements of slasher gameplay. Overall, you can feel the signature style of the creators of Resident Evil and Devil May Cry, grim locations in a Gothic style, intimidating often by their giant size, bosses and enemies, a large choice of equipment, and a large number of fighting techniques, bringing Dragon's Dogma closer to slashers, as already mentioned. There's an important new feature never before seen anywhere else, a unique system of satellites, referred to here as pawns. Players can not only use the services of local hired mages and warriors, and even not only create them themselves, there is an option, but also call up pawns of other players, giving them as a reward for unnecessary equipment. Two Worlds 2, another good game very similar to Skyrim. Besides an interesting chain of quests of the main storyline, where again there are fire-breathing dragons and powerful ancient gods. Two Worlds has a lot of side quests, which become available to the main character in different ways, and sometimes in the most unexpected situations, from guilds, communication with NPC, during random events, through message boards, etc. Because of this, the events here have an incredible dynamic, not giving the player a single minute of boredom. Also deserving of praise are the local combat mechanics and the character development system.
The Orc nation was bound to its fate. But our future is tied to another.
A Skyrim-type game that differs from other similar projects with a very intricate and epic story dedicated to a war with dragons in the fantasy world of Riverland. The main character is one of the dragon hunters, who eventually learns some shocking details about himself and gains the ability to transform himself into a creepy winged lizard. The game, in addition to an interesting non-linear storyline, is able to please with a large number of quests, an unusual crafting system based on using parts of killed enemies, an impressive number of equipment items, both for human and dragon, the ability to create a suitable pet, and a host of other nice features. Kingdoms of Amalur, Reckoning. The events of this game take place in a large open world, just like in Skyrim, filled with many interesting places, intriguing secrets, grand events, Kingdom Come Deliverance is a game that shows what Skyrim could have been like without magic and dragons. Spoiler: exciting and realistic. The game focuses on the adventures of Indro, the son of a blacksmith, who is caught up in the intrigues and conflicts of medieval lords. To at least survive, the hero will have to complete many tasks, win hundreds of battles, and take part in writing the history of Bohemia XV century. However, it is not necessary to rush into events. Like Skyrim, Kingdom Come Deliverance allows you to distract from the main storyline and do something else. Have a meal in a tavern, clear a couple of robber camps, join the local thieves guild, and so on. Particularly enjoyable are the battles here. The swordsmanship in the game is very authentic, and the large arsenal of weapons gives you the opportunity to experiment with fighting styles. There are many differences between Dragon Age Inquisition and the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, but there are some similarities as well. Firstly, the status of the protagonist. In both cases, he is the chosen one, on whom the fate of the fantasy world depends. Secondly, dragons, of course. And thirdly, an open world and freedom of action, action-oriented combat system, the possibility of building relationships with your companions. The protagonist of the Inquisition, the head of the local Inquisition, which means that he, like Dovahkiin, will participate in the political life of his world and determine its future. He also learns magic, builds his own fortress, makes allies, and faces dangerous enemies. All in all, there's more than a dozen hours of entertainment to be had here. When it comes to the best open-world RPGs, the Gothic series must be mentioned. These are old, but time-honored games. The player will visit the fictional kingdom of Murtana, whose inhabitants are engaged in a never-ending war with the orcs. Unlike other RPGs of the time, the world in Gothic is truly alive. The inhabitants simply go about their business, and the gamer's decisions have consequences and affect gameplay. Like Skyrim, Gothic always has something to surprise you, with varied progression, interesting story and secondary quests, and a reputation system. If you're not intimidated by outdated graphics, you'll enjoy the gameplay.
Come on, let's head back. This is too dangerous.
And go back to that pisshole of a camp. No way, man. Not until we find that stuff.
Oh, no! Help!
Arisen. What if Skyrim had been a little more compact, like 10 or 20 times more compact? I guess we have Arisen, an action RPG from the creators of the Gothic series. Here, the area of action is limited to a small island, and the protagonist is swept between the settlements, performing tasks and earning a reputation with the local factions. Of course, this game doesn't have the same wealth of features as in the Elder Scrolls V, but it will give you a certain amount of experience. Monster Hunter World and Skyrim are only relatively similar. Both games belong to the same genre, and both allow you to kill a variety of monsters. Nevertheless, we think that this project deserves to be in the selection because it gives you, as well as Skyrim, the feeling of freedom, spirit of adventure, and sense of satisfaction after the defeat of huge monster. And there are a lot of weapons and amazingly diverse combat system, just like in the great Bethesda RPG again. To be continued. If your favorite game is not included in this list, write in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please read the description for more details. If you enjoyed the video, please support the channel with a super thanks. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to watch more.